Joe Ruegsegger, co-founder at Squeegee Squad. Thanks so much for joining us on Franchise Findings.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to meet you.
So, Joe, we both have brothers named Jack. He's also my co-founder. We've had the business 9 years. You've had your business together 25 years. Can you walk us through some of those humble beginnings, starting in your parents' basement of starting what is now Squeegee Squad?
Yeah, when I was just going into college and my brother Jack was just getting out of college, I was back in '99, and we had dabbled in window cleaning a little bit with some commercial storefronts and things like that, and realized that the residential window cleaning niche was pretty good, and it wasn't hard for us at all just to go knock on a couple doors in some neighborhoods and say, hey, I'm Joe from the Squeegee Squad. We're doing some work in the neighborhood. Here's my card. Can we give you a free quote for window cleaning? And people love that. A few door slams, but for the most part, it's a service that is not horribly expensive, and people need it, and they need it regularly. So we kind of caught on to that pretty early on, and essentially started out with an old 1984 Ford Thunderbird, and we sold, back in '99. What is that? 16 years old car, rusty. Put some ladders on top and strapped some bungees to it. And it was just Jack and I in the spring. And then by the fall, we had like 5 different friends working for us, and kept recruiting. By the next year, 2000 into 2001, we kind of found the need to get an office and get out of the parents' basement. And so we did that. We probably had by 2003, 12, 13, 14 vehicles, a big crew of guys coming in and girls, and we just kind of started growing. I mean, we're both college grads, business degree. We kind of had a ambition to grow a big business, and a lot of our competitors out there are just kind of mom and pop, one man operations, and so we kind of found an industry that didn't really have any big players out there, and there weren't a whole lot of companies around that grew like we did. I mean, that there'd been a few companies here and there that is just one guy or something like that for the last X amount of 15 years. So we wanted to grow, and we did. We had developed infrastructure and all of the things you need to do when you're young guys and you don't know what you're doing, and we took a lot of lumps. We built the company from the ground up initially, and by 2004, I came to Jack, and essentially, I'm not sure how I heard about franchising as a business model, but I kind of said, what about franchising? And we talked about it, looked at some consultants in the industry, and finally we decided, well, let's get an FDD made. We found an attorney, we hired a consultant, kind of gave us a crash course in how to franchise your business. And little did we know, my brother always tells the story, Jack. He says, yeah, I told my wife, we're finally ready to franchise our FDD. Don't call me. I'm going to be busy all day on the phone because people are going to come. They want to buy a franchise, and of course, nothing happened that day once we launched the franchise. And it's growing a national franchise. We kind of learned is not as easy as just simply getting your legal ducks in a row. You have to prove it out. You have to prove the model. So that was kind of the start of getting into franchising right there.
How'd you find your first franchisee? Do you remember?
Well, the first franchisee was his name is Joe Antonello, and he's still in the system. He's a good friend. He's become a business partner in the franchise itself. I was actually out hanging Christmas lights on a customer's tree one day, and yeah, I've done a lot of work. And back then, I still did it. We're still running the company, and that was one of the services that we did that I kind of held on to. I'm like, oh, this customer really likes her tree. I got to go do it myself. Anyways, kind of a little bit more or less delegation for me. That's where we kind of complement each other. Jack's really good at delegating and sales, and I'm more like training and systems and have a hard time, micromanaging. Anyways, back to the how did we find the first franchisee? Basically, I was out at a customer's house, and we had sent out a newsletter to our customer base, and it said, hey, we're franchising. We changed our name to Squeegee Squad, and the customer heard about us, and they saw the newsletter, and I talked to them, and they said, wow, I heard you guys are franchising. We love you guys. We love having you out here. This would be great for my son. And so, 20 minutes later, the son shows up and we met, and then we met at our office, and the rest is history. And it's been a great thing, a great relationship with them. And kind of bit by bit since then, it's just kind of started attracting more people and bringing people in the system, and little bit by little bit in franchising, it was a tough road. I mean, we took a lot of lumps. We learned franchising from the ground up, just like we learned the window cleaning business from the ground up. And I remember one year I was at my attorney's office, and we were renewing our franchise disclosure document. All franchisors do this every year. And I showed up to his office downtown, tallest building. And he said, "Oh, you're still around." And I'm like, "What do you mean, Kevin?" He's like, "Oh, a lot of my new clients, they crash and burn." And I'm like, "What?" Like, he wasn't sugarcoating it. The reality is, in franchising, I mean, a lot of people try to franchise their business, and it's difficult. You have to really have a good model, and
You're not ready for the prime time.
yeah, yep. We just kept on at it and kept building and building and building, and picking up more steam. And obviously now it's been 25 years, and we've got a strong model. We have strong revenues system wide, good unit level economics. We've got, let's see, I think we just renewed our FDD. That's in process. And I think our latest numbers are at 70 units, and we're adding more. So we've got a lot of great people in the system. It's still, it's like a family feel in the business, where all of the franchise owners, we're friends. We see each other at our yearly convention. We're texting each other on our phones. We talk every day, direct access right to us. It's not such a big company where we have layers of management with people supporting our franchise owners that have never even run the business before. It's direct access. And now we have great staff too, where it's, we've got a lot of good people that are supporting the franchise owners. So we've come a long way, and we've got a really strong model, and we've got franchise owners doing over $1 million in revenues, scaling up and growing. So we're having a lot of fun. We've got just a great group of people in the system, and that's kind of where we're at. We've got a lot of white space still, just a lot of open markets that we haven't even gotten into. The best is yet to come, but we've built a really good foundation over the last 25 years. So it's been a fun business for us so far.
And then I can only imagine COVID was in some ways helpful in terms of your business, as that was the first time I paid for professional window cleaning. I think the second month of COVID, I'm working from home, and I started noticing things around the house, and I notice I can't clearly see out the window.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. And when that first happened in spring, I think it was April, April, they kind of shut everything down with COVID. And I remember getting a phone call from a franchise owner, Marcelo. He's in Florida. He's actually an E2 visa person that came in from Brazil. He called me up one day. He's like, "Joe, did you hear there's a pandemic? They just declared it a pandemic." He was really concerned about it. Yeah, I'm kind of hearing this too. And then, weeks later, they shut stuff down. And then probably a month after all of that stuff went down, April, May, I got a call from another franchise owner, and everybody's worried, like, what's going to happen to business? We were no different. Like, what's going on here? And I got a call from another franchise owner in Illinois, and he's like, "Joe, it's the strangest thing. I don't even know what's going on here, but I'm getting all these calls to clean windows. Like, people want me to come inside their house." I'm like, "That's great, man. That's same thing for everybody else. Like, this is crazy." We were kind of classified as a, what do you call it? A required, or one of those services that are still allowed to do it, window cleaning, an essential service. Yeah. And so all the commercial stuff kept coming in. I mean, it dipped a tiny bit, but in our business, we didn't see really any slowdown, and it was pretty strong. It almost helped our business a little bit. And same with all the, the previous recessions, like in '08. We kept growing. So it's, we used to kind of market that it's a recession resistant business. And now we can kind of confidently say and point to our numbers that also a pandemic resistant business, which is pretty cool too. So yeah, we did pretty good. You know, it slowed down a tiny bit, but it was essentially our growth went down a tiny bit, and then it shot back up the next year. But we still grew. We still grew, so it was good.
So you have franchisees, some franchisees making over $1 million. Like how much are we talking about starting a Squeegee Squad up? Like what's the initial capital that they should have, including the working capital for the first few months?
Well, if you check our FDD, I think it's somewhere between 70 and 165. So there's, obviously there's a range. It's a pretty low cost investment on the grand scheme of things. You don't have to go, build out an office or a storefront or anything like that. That's probably one of the most attractive things why people like the business is you can scale up. It's a really scalable business where, yeah, we've got franchise owners that are doing over $1 million. We've got, a list of them. If you check our disclosure document, so it's something where it's repeat business. So you go out, you get some customers, whether they're commercial or residential, and you get, they'll repeat a couple times a year. And so you go out, you do some marketing, you go do some selling, you get some customers. Those customers keep coming back every season and you get more customers. And as you get more customers, you hire more people. And the growth curve should just kind of go like this steadily as you grow. And there's some things you can do to pump it up and, have faster starts and more marketing and stuff like that. But that's really a lot of people are attracted to this business because it is so scalable. And, again, we've got franchise owners that have been around for not a whole lot of time, over $1 million. So it's a fun business. We're looking for people that want to grow a business like we did, that don't just enjoy washing windows in their, as a profession. So, and we've been finding a lot of people, and a lot of people have been finding us. We don't really do a whole lot of marketing in franchise marketing. I mean, we know a few consultants here and there that we work with, but really it's just a lot of organic growth. People hear about Squeegee Squad somehow, and they start searching, and they want to start a business, and they find us. So yeah, it's kind of going off on a tangent there, but it's a pretty low startup cost.
Oh, good. And that kind of leads into my next question. You mentioned, growth. You want, I imagine you want franchisees that have a growth mindset. What other attributes are you looking for in a prospective franchise owner?
Good question. It's not a business that really requires a whole lot of skill. You don't need any unique experience. We look for people that are, quite frankly, that are going to be good to work with, that have that kind of drive to want to go out and build a business. And in hiring for window cleaners, we always tell franchise owners, like, hire good attitudes, because window cleaning can be easily trained. We've got a lot of good training stuff for all the franchise owners. I mean, they can just have one of their new hires come in and watch a few videos and spend a half day doing some stuff that we've already engineered as far as getting window cleaners up to speed. And then they go, have them go to do some houses or whatever else. And we tell them, just look for good attitudes. That's who we want to work with. And we do kind of the same thing in the franchise, is we look for people with good attitudes. You don't, and people that are going to be good to work with, people that want to work with us and our team and kind of join the fun culture that we have. So it really doesn't take a whole lot of special experience or skill. We've got people in the medical profession. We've got young people. We've got people that have bought and sold, successfully, sold their businesses before, looking for the next thing. So we've really got just a wide variety. We've got people moving in from other countries that are looking for a good business that isn't a whole, a huge investment, that just want to start something and settle down and start a new life. So we've got a good variety. We've got just a lot of fun people that we're working with in this company.
What do you think distinguishes your firm? Because I know we have one client that invested with Squeegee Squad, and we have many others that are in the process of evaluating your franchise opportunity. What do you think picks their interest, and why Squeegee Squad?
Well, I mean, it's like I said before, it is a fun business. It's being outside, it's talking with people, it's lightweight, you don't have to spend a whole lot to do it, and you can scale up. I mean, window cleaning is it's not glamorous, but it is an instant gratification type of service where people need it. It's not hard to sell it. You can go door knocking like my brother Jack and I did back in the day, and you can start with nothing and come home with $1,500 worth of work at the end of the day. And in today's terms, that's probably more like 3 grand. But we've had a lot of salespeople, door knockers, just come home with a lot more than that just by going into neighborhoods. And one of the coolest things that people like that really differentiates us as a company is the commercial niche that we do. So we're really the only franchise in the country or in the world, that goes after the biggest contracts. I mean, I have some sitting in our conference room here. I kind of have some vintage high-rise window cleaning pictures, and it's kind of fun. This is one of our conference rooms here at the office, but there's nobody really doing that and doing it on a franchise, in a franchise brand. So it's not just, hey, grow $1 million window cleaning business. It's, hey, let's grow a huge window cleaning business, but then let's add the commercial too, where you can go knock on a door with find a building, knock on a door, figure out who manages the building. Usually it's somebody right there on site. Go talk to them, bring them some donuts, and you could land $100,000 a year relationship right there just in one contact. So when you start getting into the bigger commercial accounts, it really opens up the door to huge revenues, and that's why we've got franchise owners running $1 million plus businesses, and it's just so scalable when you get into that. Yeah, Jack, my brother, kind of helped nurture the company into the decision of getting into the commercial niche back in 2007, still earlier on in our development. So we couldn't find anybody to teach us how to do that. Our competitors, it's not like they're going to teach us how to run a business. So we had to figure that out on our own as well, and we did. We took some lumps. We worked for free some buildings because we didn't know how to bid it. And that's kind of just one of the support services that we provide now, and why people want to work with us and see the value, because it's when you're going after huge commercial contracts. I mean, we do government contracts, we do huge corporate campuses, we've done hospitals, sports stadiums, airports, anything in between. And it's not all just super scary high-rise buildings. A lot of it, like most of the big commercial stuff, might just be, a 3-story campus with, maybe there's a 6-story building here and there's another 4-story building there. And so it's just a variety of access, rope access or aerial lifts and things like that. And so that's something we do. We do it really well. We've got a great support system, and we've got great people working for us and with us to help franchise owners just break into that so much easier than we did. I mean, we have franchise owners that go back to their markets and all of a sudden they have a huge commercial contract, and it's like, what better reason to get into a Squeegee Squad franchise than having, $150,000 customer right there, just right out of the gates. So it's doing the commercial stuff is really, really differentiates our brand from anything else. So that's how we've built it.
Joe, is there anything that we didn't discuss today that would be quite relevant for prospective franchisees, or any common questions that you received that you'd like to answer?
I guess if somebody's interested in this business, I would invite them to just contact us, and we can tell them anything they want. And there's a lot of different questions and just a lot of different Q&A for different people. So I'd say, if they're curious about the business, hopefully this, interview is helpful to kind of give a little bit of info. But I'd say, they should reach out to us, and we can answer any question they have, give them a crash course on how we get clients and do business. And if they want to do it, I'd say maybe schedule a trip out to Minneapolis, and let's meet each other and see if it's a good fit.
Thanks for that, Joe. We'll include in the show notes a link to your franchise specific web page for people to get access more information, as well as the profile that we have on Vetted Biz. Joe, I just wanted to thank you for your time today and really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Thanks for the invite.